so good! So Pokémon X and Y are out, and I think it goes without saying that this game certainly stands as a contender for the greatest Pokémon game of all time. So instead of your normal review type thing, I decided to make this into my 10 most favoritist things about Pokémon X and Y. So proceed with caution, as there might be a few spoilers here, and these aren't really in any kind of order, except I guess maybe number 1, I don't know. Just watch it! Here we go. Number 10! Not HMs. Alright, if I'm gonna say anything bad about this game, I might as well get it out of the way now. HMs are still here and they still suck. I can tell they tried to make it so it's not necessary for the Pokemon on your team to know the HM moves to proceed, but then you end up missing important items like TMs and the leftovers. I'll be damned if I'm gonna drag my ass back to Route 12, which I had to do because I missed something that's insanely useful, if not totally necessary, post-game. I don't like having to pass up on teaching my Pokemon awesome moves because I can't make them forget cut on the spot. I don't like how useless most HMs are in battle. Are you actually trying to tell me my Honedge, that is literally a sword, can't cut down a shrub if I don't use a machine to teach it how to do so? I think we've all had these thoughts numerous times throughout the years, and I'm sure we've all thought of a dozen creative solutions that would make it so Pokemon can still be useful in non-combat related tasks without forcing them to learn these useless attacks they can't forget. Game Freak has been pretty stubborn about this one, but Gen 5 got TMs that don't break, so maybe in the future we'll have HM moves that can be forgotten. What, you wanted a real number 10? Fine, how about Pokemonemy and Super Training? You happy now?
Number 9!
The graphics. And by this I mean literally the graphical technology used in the game, and not necessarily the art style, because we're going to get into that a little more later. It goes without saying that it was about damn time for Pokemon to graduate into the realm of 3D models, and despite the low resolution of the 3DS, the models look excellent. The cell shading is top-notch and fits Pokemon incredibly well. The game stays as cartoony as you'd expect of Pokemon, but it doesn't keep things from looking grand and shiny and amazing. Of course, good graphics don't make a game good by any means, in my opinion, which is why this is essentially the lowest entry on the list. But that doesn't mean it isn't awesome that Pokemon has finally graduated into the modern age. Number 8! Battle mechanics. X and Y brought about some changes to the game's battle mechanics that were very much needed. I mean, first of all, freaking fairy type, am I right? It's not that I don't like dragons, I mean I had 2 on my team in Gen 5, but I can admit when something's overpowered. Dragons needed a good nerfing, and fairy seems to be a well-executed fix. Some other changes I'm pretty pumped about are the adjustment of Hidden Power's power to a flat 60 rather than a maximum of 70, which was basically unattainable if you didn't use dishonest methods of fixing your IVs. Also, weather summoning abilities now no longer summon weather permanently, but rather for only 5 turns, just like the weather summoning moves. I'm keeping my cool right now and refusing to throw a bitch fit about how ridiculous and gimmicky Hidden Power and weather abilities were before these changes. But just know that I'm a happy camper. I guess a good way to sum up these changes is that now you don't have to have certain things on your team to be competitive like you used to. So there, rant averted. Number 7! Team Flare. This is the best villain team we've had in a long time, at least in my opinion. What I liked about Team Flare was that their mission was the simplest we've seen since Team Rocket. They weren't out to challenge anyone's morals or recreate some universe or terraforming. Team Flare's mission was simple. Everyone sucks. They should die. Not bad, Team Flare. Not bad. Lysander's methods may have been extreme, but he wasn't wrong. People do kinda suck, and sometimes you wish they would all just stop breathing. Professor Sycamore and Serena even admit that Lysander has a point, but killing everyone that isn't in Team Flare isn't exactly desirable. Team Flare, as cool and swagalicious as they were, didn't butt into the storyline enough to be annoying. It was just the right level of villainy that it didn't distract from the journey. I liked their outfits, I liked their cute scientists, I loved their music. I'd happily live the grunt life as a member of Team Flare. Number 6! The PSS. When X and Y were first announced, I made a video about my top 5 hopes for the game, one of them being increased player interaction. While we still can't have our friends join us directly on our journey and be in our actual game, The PSS, short for Player Search System, has brought us closer than ever before. And now that we have Pokemon games on the 3DS, all of our 3DS friends show up without having to screw around with that annoying pal pad like in previous generations. You can even see other people from all over the world as you play the game. Two features of the PSS that I really love are O-Powers and Wonder Trading. While O-Powers might sound like something that would show up in your email spam folder, it's awesome that you can activate in-game benefits for yourself or for your friends. And if you happen to have selfish friends using O-Powers on only themselves, you can just grab theirs for free. Wonder Trades basically let you trade any Pokemon you own away to a complete stranger in return for a Pokemon of theirs. While you do end up with a lot of crap, I've gotten a ton of interesting things like Pokeras, hidden abilities, and perfect IVs. Oh, and everyone you Wonder Trade with becomes an acquaintance, and if you choose to interact with them again, you get the option to automatically register their friend code. So it's just really convenient and awesome, and I love it. Next! Number 5! Mega Evolution. And by that I mean more specifically Mega Blastoise because he wrecks face, but I'll try to keep this unbiased. Mega Evolution kicks ass. I think it resonates well with Pokemon fans who grew up on things like Dragon Ball Z or basically any shonen anime where the theme of reaching a new level of power is a thing. Which is all of them. Yeah, it gets compared to Digimon, but that's just because it's about monsters. It's just as much like Digivolving as it is like going Super Saiyan or Bankai. Anyway, it's so awesome to see Pokemon from previous generations that people really liked but weren't all that great reach new levels of power that actually made them competitive. I mean, Blastoise's not-so-scary stats never stopped me from using him before, but now this. And of course, he's not the only one. Game Freak took a big risk making a move as bold as this, but I think it paid off. Mega Evolution added a kick-ass new twist to older Pokemon that we know and love, and it's certainly one of my favorite things about X and Y. Number 4. Breeding. This is all I do anymore. It's like crack. Is it even fun? I guess. X and Y made some changes to the breeding system that were much needed in my opinion. How you obtain and hatch eggs hasn't really changed, but the ability to breed for a Pokemon with perfect IVs is now accessible to anyone with the patience and know-how. I won't get into the specifics of it, but so far I've bred 4 Pokemon with IVs and their 5 relevant stats, which means by the time all the cheater pumpkin bitch faces get all their perfect IV'd shinies that they obtained with AR or Pokegen, I'll already have an army waiting to tear them down. An army that I raised using honest methods that I can be proud of. But on top of all that, the new system is kind of fun. Starting with a Pokemon that has just a couple perfect IVs and using clever breeding techniques to create an offspring that's perfect all around is really satisfying and I can't get enough of it. Unless I'm breeding a starter because that 12% female bullshit is ridiculous. Like I said, I won't get into the specifics of IV breeding in this video, but I'll post a link to a good guide in the description. Number 3! Kalos! Yes, the region itself is one of my absolute favorite things about this game. It's not even so much how it's based on France, because honestly I've never even been to France and I don't know what it's like or even how accurate of a representation Kalos is. It's more that Kalos is the first region to truly feel different from the others. It could have been based on any place in the world, but the fact is, X and Y managed to create the most immersive region yet. This is where the art style really comes into play. Everything from towns to the outdoor scenery to the interiors of the gyms really radiates this extravagance that we've never seen in a Pokemon game before. You really start to get a feel for what kind of place Kalos is. It's the kind of place where people will recite poetry or share a song with you. It's the kind of place where you tip people for their services. It's the kind of place where you can sit on a bench or in a chair just because. And I know I joke about the sitting a lot, but it is really cool. When I do Super Training or Pokemon-Amie, I generally just find a cafe to park my butt in while I do it because I feel so immersed in the game that it feels awkward to fiddle around with those things while standing in the middle of the street. Heck, the villain team is the most stylish one we've ever seen by a long shot. Game Freak made it a point to highlight the theme of beauty in this game, and they did an excellent job. Number 2! Character customization. This was another one of my top hopes for this game, and let me tell ya, it does not disappoint. There are a decent amount of changes you can make to your character's physical appearance, such as skin, hair, and eye color, and hairstyle. And combined with the numerous clothing options, X and Y ensures that your character will be unique and make your experience truly yours and yours alone. I'm a huge sucker for character customization in games, and maybe this is a bit higher on the list than it would be for a lot of people, but honestly, this is awesome for more than just the cosmetic reasons. It kinda ties back to the way it feels to adventure through Kalos. Like how you're not even stylish enough to get into Lumio City's boutique at first, but when you finally do, oh how stylish you can make yourself look. I honestly couldn't be happier with how my character turned out. It just feels so me. And when I go into battle with a friend, it's awesome to see their character and what they've done with it. We don't all just look the same anymore, and to me, that is really cool. Number 1! So, I've talked about all the cool new features of X and Y and how great they are, but if you ask me right now why Pokemon X and Y are so fun, I'd probably say, you haven't played it? What the hell's wrong with you? But then I'd say, well, it's Pokemon! As much as this series has changed and grown over the years, it's never abandoned the core elements that make it an amazing franchise. An RPG where you embark on a journey through an amazing world capturing and battling these awesome monsters. That's hard to beat. And by keeping that formula throughout the generations while adding so much new amazing content in X and Y, Game Freak has created what could quite possibly be the best Pokemon games ever. The series has a certain magic to it that has not only been preserved in this newest installment, it's been amplified more than ever. And when the inevitable Pokemon Z comes out, I'm gonna be more than happy to throw my money at it. In Game Freak we trust. I hope you enjoyed this top 10 list. If you did, give it a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe to my channel, because if you don't, I'll kill you. Hey, you want to watch me play games and act like an idiot with YouTuber Nate Wants to Battle? Click here to see a video.
Oh, we forgot the 5th gym.
What is the 5th gym?
Koga?
I
Did
thought
we not? I thought we did Koga. What?
I swear we did. We like went through his gym.
We made the jokes about the psychics in there.
Yeah, but maybe we didn't fight him.
Oh my god. Which one do we need?